for episode 34 of Chin Music with Mitch and Tony. We're your hosts, Mitch Bone and Tony Legale. Tony, how are you doing, man? It's been a little bit.
Hey, we're coming to you live.
Power of technology, man. I came across this the other day and I'm like, let's use it.
Let's go. I even did my makeup this morning. We're freaking set.
We are set. This is great. Coming in hot, unedited. You're gonna get us as raw as possible.
I've been great, man. There's just been so much going on. And summer's winding down. It's almost, barbecue and burgers and brats days are winding down, man. We're looking at cornbread and chili. What do you think?
No, let's not even bring that up. It is brats and hot dogs and hamburgers, and even we'll throw on some chicken every once in a while.
Let's go.
Let's just normalize that being all year as long as there's not snow on the ground.
Okay.
And you know what? Let's just normalize it.
Normalize it.
It says it has to be from May to August.
Beautiful. It almost damn near is.
I mean, who says that that's the only time frame that you can do that? Like in January, kidding. As long as there's no snow. Like, come on. No, been great. Lot of things going on. We just wrapped up the Olympics, Mitch. Football, fantasy football, all that stuff is very, very well underway. And of course, you got the MLB too. Well, yeah, you got the MLB, but I wanna ask your take on the Olympics. So
okay.
I kind of feel like the Olympics is America's way to assert our dominance every 4 years.
You'd think so, yeah?
Yeah.
At this point,
I mean, I was looking at the medal count at the end, and I think the next closest was like 35, and it's like, come on.
I know. We just have so many athletes, and it's just, I would say athletics is a pretty dominant portion of anyone's culture for the most part. But yeah, the USA, we're the home of the NBA, MLB, and NFL, NHL, I mean,
yeah,
doesn't surprise me.
No, it doesn't surprise me either. It's just crazy that, the next closest was like 30 or 40 off. It's like, what are we doing here? Like,
so in regards to this year and my take on the Olympics, I thought Peacock, NBC, I thought they did a really good job of like making everything available to watch on their streaming. Real easy to follow. Their schedules was perfect. I thought the Olympics were great. Obviously, some funny moments in them as well.
That Australian breakdancer's breaking the internet.
Or the guy with the huge hog that couldn't make it over the pole. That big Italian guy. Yeah, he's set for life, bud.
Oh yeah, they're making bank just from those moments.
Yeah, they have OnlyFans.
He could.
That was a good one. And then the dude that just is like an excellent shooter. That guy with the rifle, that was kind of entertaining. Yeah. But really got a kick out of, I would say, probably my highlight of the entire Olympics was watching the USA win gold in basketball. I'm sorry, but that last stretch of 4 threes in a row by Steph Curry, and especially the last one,
was insane.
That was one of the most spectacular moments in sports I may have ever seen. Truly.
Over 7'5" Wembanyama, like,
dude. I mean, I literally had let's go. I mean, I was in that game because of Steph at the end there. It's a great game. Great, good to see the U.S. has competition all across the board. I thought it was super competitive. I'd watch that team, that dream team, or whatever. The Avengers is what they're saying. Yeah. The Avengers. I'd watch them all day long. But as soon as they get back into the NBA, I'm probably not going to tune in.
I was just going to say, you hate the NBA, so this is a great thing for you.
Yeah. That was about my basketball fix of probably the most basketball I've watched since we.
Yeah, you really do not like basketball, and it's actually funny how much you dislike it.
It's just, everybody's good. I get it. I think the talent's good. It just, end to end, it's well, they got to take like 3 steps each and they're there, and then they just, I don't know.
I have to say, I have never been the biggest Steph Curry fan. Which
Same.
To a lot of people is like, what are you thinking? You're not a big Steph Curry fan. Like, he's the greatest. And I'm like, let's pump the brakes a little bit. Like, he's good, but this Olympics kind of rose him up a little bit for me. Like, I don't know what it was. It moved him up a little bit.
Can I just ask you, so, I mean, what you feel about this? And it doesn't matter because, you know me, I'm pretty neutral on everything going on in the world, although some people are extreme one side or the other. Do you think there's a place, like, I mean, we're talking God-given ability, hard work as an athlete, we're talking all those things. Do you think there's any place for those guys to utilize their platform to endorse political parties? Like, do you think that's, what do you think about that in sports?
So here's my thought on it. If they were Joe Schmo on the street, they'd be allowed to do it. What's the difference because they make millions of dollars and have a little bit of a voice? Like,
yeah, I agree. It's a very humanistic aspect of things. Definitely. I could see that.
They have there's no reason why just because he's LeBron James, because I could assume that's who you're probably talking about because I know he's been.
Well, Steph goes on there, you know, like Steph said that. She's like, yeah.
Steph does too now? Okay.
I'm pulling.
LeBron has in the past. And
oh, yeah.
I don't see a problem with it because here's the thing. As an American society, yeah, we may listen to them a little bit more, but at the end of the day, we're not going to listen to anybody.
Yeah.
We're going to listen to ourselves. We're going to make our own opinions. And
well, you would hope so.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what anyone says for the most part. At least I feel like, especially here in Montana where we live, we're not going to take anyone's opinions super.
Yeah, very true. I just meant like on a stage, you know what I mean? Like on a stage like that, and, you know, being is the most important thing for the country and the basketball team, and what they could do was win gold medals, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, that's their job and whatever. And so, like, don't you think it just maybe takes away from what they're trying to do because it, you know, you can, because of the passion on both sides of like, oh, you believe that? Well, I don't like you, or how things are now. And, I mean, don't you think like just, you know, go out there, have some fun, put a great smile on and play some basketball and shut up?
Like, I mean, yes and no. Like a few years ago when LeBron was really vocal,
yeah,
he got that play basketball and shut up.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, I'm a human too. Like,
yeah,
maybe I'm
fair
taking things and I'm using my platform to advance what I believe. But everybody in America does that if they have a platform. Like,
sure.
Let's be honest. If they have a little bit of a platform, they do it. Like I'm doing it right now in Billings with disability rights, just because I have a little bit of a voice here.
Mitch, you should talk a little bit about that. I've been following all the stuff that you've been doing just since we have a moment on the show. Like, I mean, let's dive into some of the stuff. I know we can't get into all of it because of what you've been doing.
Yeah. So I had that forum at the end of July, and that was awesome. Attended by about 50 people. And they want another one in February, which was not what I thought they would want. I thought they want one yearly and they would be good. But then since then, I have become a member of a nonprofit that's going to be helping do a bunch of different things, not just with the disabled community, but right now we are focusing on the disabled community and how to make it better for everybody in Billings. And that's called the Do Better group. And then also just this week, I met with another superstar in Billings, Sarah Beth Wald. And she and I are going to be working on doing some seminar type speaking things for the disabled community, whether that be like work discrimination or different things like that in the community.
So what's on tap next? I think rather modest approach to what you're doing and what you've already done. What have you seen in regards to your effort putting into that right away outside of the massive amount of awareness?
Right now, it's a lot of awareness. Just trying to get the word out more, trying to get people on board. I will say there have been, for the most part, my fight has been restaurants in Billings, and there have been a few that have been very receptive. One I will give a shout out to 100 bajillion times is Guadalajara. I love the people at Guadalajara. They did not have a lower table for me in their bar, and I just posted it on Facebook. And their owners,
I actually saw that post. I saw that post.
And
you're watching the Raiders game.
I was, yeah. And they were like, "Oh God, Mitch, we will get one in here ASAP," and they had one in there by the end of the next week. So
big shout out to them.
Awesome, Veronica and Q over at Guadalajara.
Oh yeah,
amazing.
Q's the man, and Veronica, sweetheart amazing. For dealing with Q. Just saying. No.
But there have been a couple others too that have been awesome. But it's just getting awareness. I've always said this, people. It's an awareness issue, and it's an ignorance issue. I do not believe that the majority of people intend to be discriminatory. They just don't know.
They just don't know any. They're not their variables. They don't have to deal with them. Why would they think of them?
Yep. So that's just what I'm trying to do, is make it so that people think about them and hopefully change them.
Well, do better. Do better is the group.
Yes.
Do better. Group.
We meet once a month. We'll start back up in September because we took a break over summer because everyone's so dang busy.
Yeah. Well, Mitch, speaking of doing better, the 2024 fantasy football season is upon us. Okay. And I would like to do better than last year, because last year I laid an egg.
I would like to actually do a fantasy league this year. I did not do fantasy this year.
Oh, how are we going to do this? We're in. I'm in. Sign me up.
I am going
to be my third team.
All right. Well, I'm going to be starting one. So, Tony, you're in.
Might just be us, but it's okay.
Oh, no. There's a lot of other people that are going to be in it, too.
Well, I was thinking about all the friends I had, and then you're right here, you know. No.
A very, very small exclusive group, guys.
I want to talk about something going into the fantasy season, so because now everybody's preparing. We are all good. I want to talk about, in your eyes, I want to talk about the value in the quarterback position.
Okay.
So historically, for the last 6-7 years, it seems like, you got Mahomes, Josh Allen, and you got Lamar Jackson in the top tiers. Mahomes potentially being number one based off the pieces he has around him in that Chiefs offense, and
being an absolute god.
Like, yeah, that too.
I'm a Raiders fan, and I will fully admit that.
God. But what about Mitch? Where I want to talk. Where do you take those guys in your fantasy drafts?
So, just out of pure shock value, and because he is so damn good, I would take Mahomes earlier than any other quarterback. I would take Mahomes. Most of the time, quarterbacks go in the 5th or 6th round. I would start thinking about taking Mahomes in the 3rd or 4th.
So you're going real early on these quarterbacks.
I would go.
Is that the only way you can get them?
It's the only way you can guarantee it. Mm-hmm. Especially if you're a late pick in the round. So, like, if you're in the 5th or 6th round and you've got the 8th or 9th pick in your league, you're going to want to get Mahomes earlier, because by that time in the 5th or 6th round, he's not going to be there. So I would go Mahomes, and I would maybe even shoot Lamar a little bit earlier than the other ones too.
What about this take? Because I understand the value that Mahomes holds just because he's Mahomes. But what if I went real heavy on receiver, running back, your preference, whatever yours is. Mine's receiver based. I always take receivers. But what's so wrong, and tell me how my team looks, if I got the top tier receivers, and then on the back end, I take Jared Goff, and I also take Trevor Lawrence on the very back end.
Wrong with that in my mind. If you've got a guy like Devontae Adams or Tyreek Hill or Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson, and then at running back you got, like, I think ETN is a good fantasy running back. Bijan Robinson, Josh Jacobs if he turns it around. I don't know if he will in Green Bay, but
yeah.
Trying to think of other stud running backs. Derrick Henry in Baltimore, I think, will be an absolute monster. Yeah, if you take one of those guys and then you take those aforementioned wide receivers, or like the Amon-Ra St. Browns, Cooper Kupps, the guys that are just right below the superstars, I think you're fine to take a middle of the road quarterback like a Jared Goff or a Trevor Lawrence.
But here's the thing, middle of the road. I mean, granted, we're talking fantasy here a little bit, and I know it's a little bit skewed in regards to kind of what we're talking about as far as, solid quarterbacks. But here's the thing, the Lions are not going to get worse this year. Like, they're going to be the same. And that I was not a Jared Goff fan by any means. And so when he was in LA, I mean, he just has that look to him where he's just softer than baby shit. I don't know what it is, but
when I'm saying that Jared Goff is middle of the road, he's middle of the road in fantasy. In like real play, he's probably 10 or 11. Like he's up there.
With the weapons, okay, look at the overs in all those games, right? Look how many points that Lions team puts up. With the weapons that they have, is it out of question to say that Jared Goff will finish as a top 5 fantasy quarterback?
No, not with Amon-Ra St. Brown, not with Jameson Williams. Yep. Jahmyr Gibbs is a receiving running back. He's another one that might be a sleeper for people to pick up because, I mean, he does it all for them.
But they got the dynamic weapons, and this guy's Jared Goff's getting better.
He's getting Sam Laporta, who's one of the best young tight ends.
Yep.
No, they've got a really good team around Jared Goff, and I think for a quarterback that maybe is not as talented, well, he is not as talented as like a Patrick Mahomes or all of those guys. He probably has the best situation around him.
Well, and fortunately, and I don't have his exact ADP position right now, preseason. I don't have the stats on that, but I mean, Jared Goff ain't going in the first 4 or 5 rounds.
No.
So looking at that value, driving home the point of the value at the quarterback position. I mean, we're saying Anthony Richardson. I mean, some of these low hanging fruit that really could. I mean, I'm all about looking at the pieces around these guys. Okay, so I've never had a single share of Patrick Mahomes. I know that's a horrible fantasy strategy, but I just who is Mahomes surrounding himself with outside of Rashid Rice and Travis Kelce? What's going to be like? Who's going to be their guy? I mean, I saw that they kept Kadarius Toney, which I thought was pretty interesting considering.
Yeah.
And considering of all last year where they didn't even let him suit up for the big game.
Right.
He's back.
So the only weapon that they picked up, and this is a scary ass weapon that they picked up, I will say this. In the first round of the draft, they picked up Xavier Worthy out of Texas, and he is freakishly fast, excuse me.
Really?
He ran like a 4.22 or 4.21 40.
Yes. Tyreek Poor. Let's go. How tall? How big is he?
He's not big. He's not Tyreek size.
No, he's smaller.
He's let me look it up for sure. But he's not as big as Xavier Worthy. He is. Wow, it's taking me a long time to get to it. Sorry, guys. He's 5'11".
So he's Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, 5'11", 165. He's Tyreek.
He's Tyreek.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully Mahomes has a downfield scheme with him because it's fun to watch him chuck the rock.
I hope he doesn't.
I hope he doesn't. As a Raiders fan, actually, yeah. What's going on with the Raiders? I mean, what's the deal? Is Tom Brady going to be the quarterback? Because I'll watch.
No, he's going to go to Minnesota.
Brady, the Vikings are struggling right now.
So the Raiders have a 2 QB competition between Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell. My gut is Gardner Minshew's probably going to win it.
Yeah.
I think he's just a better quarterback at this point in his career. That's not to say Aiden O'Connell couldn't be, because the second half of last year, Aiden O'Connell played out of his mind for what he was thrown into. But I think in the long run, best shot for the Raiders is to have Gardner Minshew behind the center. And yeah.
Minshew is the starter?
Minshew Mania.
Are you serious?
That's what my gut is. Plus, also my gut is I have a feeling we may be bad enough to get one of the top quarterbacks this year. I think we fumbled this year in not getting a quarterback because the Falcons decided to take Michael Penix. And yeah.
Much different structure, but with the NHL comparatively to the NFL, the Las Vegas Knights, obviously that was the first pro sports team in Vegas. They made, they had an expansion draft. They did all the things. They brought in some pieces early on.
Were the Knights there before the Raiders?
They were, yeah, about 5 years, 6 years maybe before the Raiders.
Okay.
So what I'm saying, I guess, is, are you surprised comparatively outside of obviously Davante Adams? Are you surprised that with the launch of the new stadium in Vegas and what the Knights had done to kind of root hockey there because of their success? The Vegas obviously made it to the Stanley Cup their first year. Are you surprised that the Raiders organization haven't brought in like someone big, like a big quarterback, or do you see what I'm saying comparatively?
I do. So here's an interesting thing that I just saw the other day. So the Raiders had a trade in place to get the number 2 pick last year. Who was the number 2 pick last year?
QB.
Yep. CJ
Stroud.
Look at what he did with Houston.
Yeah.
I think the Raiders, on paper, besides the quarterback position, are better than Houston. And so I can't remember who in our organization put the kibosh on that and said, nope, we're not doing that. We're staying put. But if we would have had the ability to trade up to that number 2 spot, get CJ Stroud, I think we would be where the Texans are.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, that Texans team is going to be nice. They got
that Texans team is going to be nasty. Yeah.
Yeah. So that CJ Stroud, another value at the quarterback position.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of young value. I mean, CJ Stroud. You do have Anthony Richardson, who I thought last year was going to be the best quarterback in the draft, but then he got injured. So you never know. He could have been. Yeah.
The big question lingering. Are the dog days of the Denver Broncos in regards to the constant quarterback struggle, no matter who goes there, Mitch, are those over with Bo Nix and Sean Payton?
So this question kills me because for people that don't know, I'm also an Oregon Ducks fan. And so when I saw Bo Nix go to the Denver Broncos, I yelled many, many curse words at my TV.
I yelled many, many curse words. I did. I yelled them at my television. I did. Okay. Probably the loudest curse.
Yeah, especially because if you remember this year's draft, it went Broncos at 12, Raiders at 13.
Yep.
And so we were one pick away from getting the quarterback that I wanted, because I wanted Bo Nix so bad on the Raiders.
Bo Nix in Vegas. Oof. See, that's what I'm saying. What are we doing here, man? What is that organization doing?
We could have traded up to like 10 or something and gotten him. But we're just I will say though, like, as much as I wanted Bo Nix, getting Brock Bowers is amazing. That was like the best, like, oh, he's still on the board. Let's go up to the podium.
So, can he turn the organization around? And what pieces do you think he has around him A healthy Jerry Jeudy maybe would be nice for a full season.
I think Jerry Jeudy got traded.
Did he? Okay, well, there you go. Suck it Broncos, because I don't even pay attention that much.
I'm pretty sure he did, because I was happy when he did.
Yeah, gosh, he just great route runner, just could not detour the injury bug at all.
Yeah, he got traded to the Browns.
Did he? Oh, damn, I like that Browns team.
Yeah, so they still have Courtland Sutton, though.
Okay.
And I don't know, they don't have the best weapons right now, but that doesn't say in a year or two they won't.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would assume that they're surely more competitive with the Bo Nix than they are with Russell Wilson. Sorry, Russell's done.
I think they'll be more competitive. I still think they're the worst team in the division. Well, maybe second worst. I don't know. LA's pretty bad, but I'd say they're the worst team just because I think Justin Herbert gets the Chargers a couple of wins they maybe don't deserve.
Yeah, well, especially with Harbaugh.
Yeah,
in there,
but having Justin Herbert as Harbaugh's quarterback.
What has anything ever came of that Harbaugh situation? The Michigan.
I don't know if anything ever has. I kind of wonder with him going to the NFL if it just kind of stopped.
I don't know. Very interesting. Didn't sound like he kind of was aware of it. So perception is reality.
Aware. There's a reason he's in the NFL now.
Yeah. Fair enough. We talked about it prior to us starting this episode, but man, we got some tears coming out of Minneapolis, Minnesota, don't we?
Oh my God, don't we ever? One of my good friends, Kyle, is a massive, massive Vikings fan.
Sorry, and Kyle.
I got on PlayStation with him that night that all this stuff was going down. And I'm like, so are you good?
Are you good?
And he's like, no, it's been a terrible day. So they're going to be rolling with Sam Darnold.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, that's tough, man.
That is bad. Like I thought that JJ McCarthy wasn't going to be great, but oh my God, Sam Darnold is terrible.
Well, McCarthy looked pretty good.
Yeah, McCarthy looked okay.
Yeah, he looked all right for sure. Yeah, that's basically takes Minnesota out of the deal. I mean,
it takes Minnesota basically, I think, completely out of the division. They were already pretty much out of it anyways, with Detroit and Green Bay figuring stuff out so quickly. And then I think a sleeper team is Chicago. I hate to jump on that train, but I think they've done enough.
Yes, Caleb Williams,
Rome Odunze. They brought in Keenan Allen if he can stay healthy.
Mm-hmm.
They've brought in a lot to make Caleb Williams successful, which kind of makes me mad because I'm a huge Justin Fields fan, and they didn't do anything for him before.
And I really like Fields, and I still like Fields. I think I saw something the other day that he's on pace to break the record for most yards in the first 2 or 3 seasons or something like that.
It wouldn't surprise me. He's an animal.
Yeah, Lamb Jack's on there, and someone else, the fastest player to reach that yard or something like that. Yeah. So, I mean, in Pittsburgh, because that's a nice team this year too. I mean, I kind of am excited to watch them.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that quarterback situation. Mm-hmm. How long of a leash they give. I'm assuming Russ is going to win the starting job at the beginning of the year. How long of a leash do they give him before they turn it over to Justin Fields? Or do they just
Fields has got to be on the field, man.
Fields and have Russell Wilson mentor him?
Yeah, well, and how exciting that Fields has been just getting groomed by Mike Tomlin. Like, I think Mike Tomlin's great.
Mike Tomlin has got to be one of the most underrated good coaches in the NFL.
Oh yeah, just super consistent.
Yeah, and no one, like, everyone talked about Belichick. Everyone talked about Tony Dungy when he was with the Colts. Everyone's now talking about Andy Reid with the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
John Harbaugh with the Ravens, and it's like no one talks about Tomlin.
Yeah, I love Tomlin. Love the fire. Love the fire that he creates. So that should be an interesting thing. But yeah, Russell's just not going to cut it ever again in the league. So
no, and I mean, think those Pittsburgh
great career
are going to be ruthless if he's bad.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and like I said, yeah, I just want to watch Fields mature, and hopefully he can, because there's been obviously rays of enormous light.
No, he's had moments. It's just he was on an organization that until Caleb Williams came to town, didn't want to build around a quarterback.
Man, I gotta say, obviously T-Law is probably primed for another good season. He had, to me, just an okay season last year. Obviously a little bit better, but man, like, is Mac Jones like just the worst NFL quarterback right now in the league?
Yeah.
God, just look at him. He's just the way he walks. I don't know.
If you couldn't make it on, that bad Patriots team,
yeah,
I'm sorry, the Patriots.
Oh my God, talk about
bad. If you couldn't make it on that team and they were benching you for Bailey Zappi and whoever the heck else they could get off of the street, that's pretty bad.
Over under. Here's going to be our bet of the season, and then we're not talking about the Patriots ever again.
I was going to bring up one more thing about the Patriots. So, Drake May has not been super impressive in camp.
Yeah, people are like...
And Joe Milton has been, the 6th round guy.
Joe Milton, the starter's Jacoby.
Yeah. They're not even talking about Jacoby.
No.
Is he like the ultimate Patriot at this point? He's been back like 3 or 4 times.
He really has. So we'll never talk about it again, but we have to get this out of the way now. And I don't even care if some sort of miracle happens and they acquire like a massive name, right? Like, this is just the harsh truth. Okay. So we're going to do an over under bet.
Okay.
The line is 3. Will the Patriots go over under 3 in the win column? And I will let you have first pick. I will take the other side.
Oh man. Well, I hate to do this to you as a Patriots fan, but I'm taking the under. I don't know if they're going to win the game.
Okay. Well, hey, it gives me something to root for. Okay. Yeah. Hitting this over, because I think it's going to be a tight line. I don't think the Patriots may get over that. And they're not, and pushes don't pay. So
I think their ceiling is 4.
Me too.
I mean, it's bad.
It's funny listening. I've always listened to the Gillette Stadium, like, official Patriots podcasts, and even those guys are, what can we look forward to in the future here, and what to expect.
Yeah. And it's even like, I'm not going to say that their coach is going to be a bad coach, because we don't know that, but they just hired another Belichick guy, basically.
Yes.
And it's like, you had Belichick for 20 plus years. Like,
yeah, can't you see that the entire league is changing?
Yeah, go try something new.
Yeah, definitely. Well, shoot, right underway. Most anticipated team to watch for me, like, not necessarily team. Maybe I'd have to reconsider this, but I'm really looking forward to watching Jordan Love this year in Green Bay. I really am. So
there you go.
I think he's very worth the investment.
Yeah. So the team I am most looking forward to watching is the Atlanta Falcons.
I love that too. And yeah, another Patriot went down the other day. The only superstar that we had left was Matthew Judon, and he is now a Atlanta Falcon. So that Falcons team might be nice.
They're in a weak division.
Yep.
In the NFC South, which is favorable for them. They have Kirk Cochains in Kirk Cousins. And if he's not able to play, they've got Michael Penix. They have Bijan Robinson. They have Drake London. They have Kyle Pitts. And that's just on the offense.
I'm looking at the odds right now for Atlanta to win that division.
They should have pretty good odds.
Atlanta Falcon odds to win the division. Let's see. Betting odds today. Wow. Atlanta Falcons odds are minus 120. Minus odds before a game has even been played. That's a pretty telltale sign.
Yep.
Yeah, because what are the Saints? I mean, are the Saints like they got Carr? Obviously, they're always going to be sort of competitive, but
they'll be okay. The Bucs will be good because they have Baker, who's on a mission.
Bucs will be solid.
Prove people wrong. He's always fun to watch just because he proves people wrong all the time. And then you have Carolina, that's basically a step above a dumpster fire.
Tampa Bay Bucs. Yeah, seriously, right?
Like, they're not quite as bad as, like, the dumpster fire teams of the league, but they're right there.
Tampa Bay Bucs. Buccaneers odds. I just want to look at their odds real quick. I'm just intrigued now. That division is just kind of... to win the next game. Not bad. I mean, I'd be more inclined to take, from a betting standpoint, I'd be more inclined to take the Bucs. They're plus 340 to win the division versus minus 120.
Yeah, no, the Bucs definitely. I think part of that is that the Bucs have done it the last few years. Like, they've just been the team.
Yeah.
But I could see the Falcons coming out and doing it this year, especially if Kirk is healthy.
Kirk, yeah, we'll see. I mean, even their backup. Who's their backup?
Penix.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like that might be the Penix.
That wouldn't be bad either. But no. They just paid Kirk like $20 million a year, so they're going to play Kirk if he's healthy.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah. For sure. College is coming up here.
Yeah.
We have the first Bobcat game in a little over a week.
Crazy.
Yep.
Who do they open with?
They open with New Mexico.
They'll probably
down in New Mexico.
Probably beat New Mexico.
I was going to say, get this. They're favored.
They're the favorite. The Cats are.
They're the favorite.
I love it.
Yeah.
About time.
Like, I get it that, like, we're one of the best FCS teams, but we have no business going to any FCS school and even really having a shot.
True.
Like, there should not be a single FBS school that an FCS school can go in and, one, be the favorites, but two, beat.
Hey, that's just what Montana's been building. It's pretty cool.
It's awesome. Yeah. Yeah. And then the Grizz obviously have their season starting as well. I don't know who they're starting with. Sorry, Grizz fans. Just going to look that up real quick. They start with Missouri State.
Missouri State.
Yep.
That is a
They don't start until the 31st, so they have a bye this first week.
Oh, okay. So the Cats will start first.
Yep.
Good deal. Heck yeah.
Are you going to make it up to any Cats games this year?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to make it up to probably, we do two to three a year. Yeah, it's always something nice, little fun little trip. In regards to college football, I wanted to say I did have an opportunity to finally play the new NCAA football game.
What do you think?
So in regards to the presentation, I think the players and how they move and everything, I think it's spectacular. I really do. Yeah. I think they put a lot into the presentation and the intricacies in the stadium and all the things that each of these colleges have as kind of like their alma mater traditions. And I thought they did a spectacular job of doing that. I think the gameplay is fantastic. I love, it's a very entertaining game to say the least. I was a little bit discouraged because the last NCAA football game on the PS2 or PS3 or whatever, every NCAA football had the Cats and the Grizz and the FCS on that game, and they're not on there now.
You can play as them though.
You can. What do you mean?
Go in the team builder.
Team builder.
And then I'll send you the guy that does it. I think it's like Montana AA football. If you look up his name, he's done all the Big Sky schools.
So in regards to their team and their stadium, or
so our stadium is not in there.
That's what I mean. Where do they set them up if you play as them?
So the Bobcats are set up at the University of Toledo.
Nice.
But they have all our jerseys. They have like the Gold Rush jersey. They have
really
aways. Yeah, no, it's really cool. And then like the field itself has like the Bobcat logo, and then it has the Big Sky logo on the 25. And this is the same for all of them. I'm just using the Bobcats because I've actually played as the Bobcats. But yeah, no, it's really detailed up until you get to the outside of the stadium. Then you realize you're at the University of Toledo. Whatever. But I have to say, even though you're at the University of Toledo, theirs is the same where they have that one side that has all the press boxes.
Right.
So it kind of looks like you're at Bobcat Stadium.
That's cool.
You're not. Yeah.
So he probably had to use a similar looking stadium to recreate the Ultimate Vision.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not Bobcat Stadium, but I've never been to the University of Toledo Stadium to know that that's actually what it is. But that stadium of the University of Toledo's does look somewhat similar. A little bit bigger, obviously, but
something I've been dying to talk to you about that we got to talk about. We got to fit this in the last portion of this episode here is tell me all about the Billings Scarlets and the run that they've made and what it has been like to be a part of that.
Oh my gosh. So first off, I got to give a shout out to all of the American Legion, Jeff Ballard, the Royals, the Scarlets. All of you guys have been awesome to me for years, but especially this year. So we had the Northwest Regional Tournament here in Billings at Dealer Park this whole last week. And to say it was a dream, it was just amazing. The Scarlets lost their first game. They lost to Colorado 1-0. Just couldn't get the bats going that game. I don't know what it was, but probably just first game jitters. You know what I mean? But then they came back the second game. Drew McDowell pitched, who is going to the South Dakota State to play with Coach Bishop. And he pitched absolutely amazing, complete game, shutout. I think a no-hitter.
Wow.
And then the Scarlets their bats came alive. Their pitching was shut out. They only gave up 4 runs in the entire tournament.
Wow.
Didn't give up or didn't commit an error the entire tournament, which is like unheard of.
Holy cow.
And for the first time since 1962, a team from Montana made it to the American Legion World Series. So right now they are currently in Shelby, North Carolina.
Amazing. When does the tournament start, Mitch?
So they played yesterday. They lost 6-0.
Mm-hmm. Who'd they play?
They played Delaware. Yep. And then they don't play today, but they play again tomorrow. And they play Louisiana. And all of these games are on ESPN Plus.
Are they?
You can watch them. And they're great. Team has been awesome to me. And it was absolutely awesome to voice that entire tournament. It was fun.
What was the vibe like considering so because I didn't follow but Missoula won the state title.
Missoula won the state title. Yep.
Were they participating in the regional?
They were.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Okay. And how did they end up?
They did not do great. I think they won one game.
One game.
But then they lost out. But you know what? They did great. At the beginning of the year, if you would have told me that they won state, I probably wouldn't have believed it. So the fact that they won state and got to go to this regional tournament is awesome. And then played fairly well. I think what happened was in the state tournament, they just used all their arms. And they just didn't have anything left for this regional tournament, I think is what happened. But they played well to even get there. And And I'm sorry, what was the rest of your question?
Yeah, I'm just curious as to where they stacked up against the competition. Just because I was shocked the Scarlets lost.
I was too, honestly. But that happens. That's baseball.
Oh yeah.
The Yankees don't win 162 games a year, even though on paper they probably should.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, that's baseball. The Scarlets came in as the host team, and that's how they got in.
So cool.
Next year, the Royals will get in as the host team unless they win state. Then the Scarlets will be the host team again.
Okay.
And that's how it would have worked this year too. If the Scarlets would have won state, then the Royals would have gotten in.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's a nice deal they organized. So the Northwest tournament's always going to be here?
No. So it's just here for the next 2 years.
Wow.
So before that, it was in Gillette for 3. And so when my brother played, we went down to Gillette.
Oh, wow.
But it's been in Missoula before. It's obviously in Billings now. It's been in Gillette. I think they had it in Oregon one time.
Really?
It's obviously been all over. Yeah. But the Northwest consists of Montana, Wyoming, Washington, Oregon, Idaho, and Alaska. Yep.
Awesome.
So, and the other cool thing is the Alaska team won like 2 or 3 games, which is the first time they've done that since the 80s. So
great.
Yeah. So they were a really good team. They, just like Missoula, though, towards the end of the tournament ran out of arms. And just couldn't keep up.
Heck yeah. Well, congrats to those guys and all the families, energy to the athletes, and that's an exciting accomplishment. So
super exciting, and I was super blessed to be a part of it, and it was super cool. I got to call a couple of home runs. Nate McDonald hit a couple of home runs. So
sick.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
Yep.
I think our everything I have written down we kind of covered. I guess one more hot take just to get your opinion on it. All in all, who's the front runner in the MLB right now? Outside of the statistics and who's in first and all that stuff, but like who do you see making a deep run?
That's tough. I kind of feel like it's the Phillies to lose. I feel like they're day in and day out the best team. There's really no inconsistencies except for that weekend in Seattle that you got to go see, which made it even better.
Such a good series, though.
Yeah. But no, I honestly think it's the Phillies. I mean, when you look at the NL, really, who's going to stop them in the NL?
The Dodgers. The
Dodgers could, but that's about it. And the Dodgers seem to always choke in the playoffs. So
they do. They just got so much depth now. I mean, they just added Jack Flaherty as well.
I know.
It's like, and I still am on board with you. I'm not a Dodgers man, never have been, but
no. Rob Manfred needs to step in and tell him to stop.
Yeah, that will certainly be a moment to look at here, because we narrow to October as those two teams. The Braves, surprisingly, are doing some good things as well. I don't think that they're going to be a threat without Acuna, but
yeah, their problem is they're just hit so hard by the injury bug.
Yeah,
I mean, Acuna is out. Albies hasn't been 100% all year. They've just been so hit by the injury bug that as much as I like the Braves, they're my NL team. I just don't see them being what they've been the last few years.
I don't believe, as far as a Yankee fan, you can't tell me that we're going to make a deep run with our pitching staff.
Nope.
So
the AL is really a crapshoot. I will say this, and this is being a biased Mariners fan. If the Mariners get in, which I don't know if we will with our hitting, because our hitting is atrocious.
Pitching's great, though.
pitching could carry us far.
It could.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a believer in that too. Yeah, you get a Rosariner hot, what's his name sticking around. I love Victor Robles. They got something brewing there, you can tell.
As long as we can hold off the Astros and not have to go into a wild card series.
Yeah, Astros are going to be tough.
I think we have a shot to go deep because of our pitching staff. It has absolutely nothing to do with our hitting, unless, like you said, we can get a Rosarena to turn it around. And a couple of our other guys, Julio, to finally be 100% healthy. We brought him back too early, and now he's injured again.
Yep.
But yeah.
So is he officially injured again?
Yeah.
What is he?
They took him out of the game the other day after going 0 for 10 with 10 strikeouts because they brought him back too early.
Well, he'll come around. He has those streaks when he's healthy.
Well, he does, but not 0 for 10 with 10 strikeouts. It's usually 0 for 10 with, a couple ground outs here, fly out there.
Is he really 0 for 10 with 10 Ks?
It's close to that, yeah.
Holy cow.
Maybe 8 or 9.
It's a tough game. It's a tough game.
I know one game he went 0 for 5 with 5 strikeouts. I do know that.
The golden sombrero.
Yep. I do know he did that.
Well, we sure got some exciting things coming up. Summer's wrapping up. Olympics are done. Fantasy football's on its way. Oh, man, it's time to take our weekends to a whole nother level now.
Yep. Take our weekends to football and college football on PlayStation, and that is it. That's all I'm doing all weekend.
I think it's pertinent that before the NFL season starts, we do organize this fantasy football thing, and then I think it would be fun to do a mock draft on our next episode.
Yeah, we should.
It'd be kind of fun. We'll just go down and do a mock, and we can even.
Now are we gonna do it with just the two of us though? Because that'd be kind of.
Yeah, I know. Well, we can just get we could always get input into a mock. I don't know. We'll have to figure out how to do that.
Maybe we can have some guest appearances on our next show.
That would be sick.
Maybe we'll do it on a weekend and we'll just have 4 or 5 guys on here.
Dude, I'm down. We should definitely do that.
Yeah.
And just have them draft.
Yeah. All right.
Dig that for sure.
With that, have a great day. And thanks for listening to our first live episode.
Coming to you live.
We will be back next time.